How the heck did I go from $15,000 a month in passive income last portfolio unveil to $20,000 of passive income a month now? Welcome back to the channel, everyone, your number one source for income-oriented investing. It's time for your favorite video, Portfolio Update, Portfolio Unveil number 29, where I will go over all the changes that I've done to my portfolio in September, and I'll give you the updated account values as of the day that I'm filming this, the very superstitious Friday, October the 13th. So what will I show you in this video? Of course, how the heck I've done such a big jump in income. We'll go over the changes. Of course, if you're a PI Inner Circle member, you already know exactly what happened. And I will remind you that in case you're interested to become a member, live stock trade alerts, everything that I do is divulge live to you. To PI Inner Circle members. That's just one of the perks. If you're interested to learn more about the program, just click on that little join button where that subscribe button is or near it to find out more about it. So what will I show you in this video? Let me show you my account balance using passive, just to prove to you that what I'm telling you is true, what I'm telling you in the video title and the thumbnail is true. And then we will go through my entire portfolio in Excel files, it's going to be much easier to digest. And I will remind you that you could download the Excel file, my entire portfolio, for free on my website. In case the screen is too small, you want to follow along better. My website is passiveincomeinvesting.ca. Just click on free tools and resources and it will be the very first download. So without further ado, let's check out what the heck happened in September, and I'll give you my updated values as of now. Let's get to it. I'd like to take a moment to thank the official sponsor of this video, Harvest ETFs, one of my personal favorite covered call ETF fund managers in Canada, which have just launched HPYT, the Harvest Premium Yield Treasury ETF. This is the highest yielding US government bond covered call ETF in Canada. An approximate 15% yield. That's right, you heard right. An approximate 15% yield. I do have a review video of it. Make sure to check it out. I do a Q&A with the CEO of Harvest, Michael Kovacs. So very, very interesting option nowadays in the fixed income world. Of course, when we're adding covered calls to it, of course. They also have their all-in-one solution, which combines Harvest's best covered call ETFs into one, adds 25% leverage. Right now, it's giving an astronomical yield, just under 12%. Of course, I'm talking about HDIF, the Harvest Diversified Monthly Income ETF. So again, thanks to Harvest for being such a good friend of the channel. So here is my account balance. So of course there's going to be a drop from the last month because the stock market, especially in Canada, most of the damage that I got, of course this is all on paper, guys, not that I really care, but the damage really happened on the Canadian side, right? The financials kept going down hard, and of course most of the damages actually came from my main portfolio. So remember, in case you're new to the channel, I do have two separate entities. This is really the combination of the two entities together. The main portfolio, which makes up my TFSA, my wife's TFSA, and our joint margin account, and the retirement account, that is entity number two, which is our two TFSAs and my small lira. This is all US, in USD pretty much, and this is mostly in, it's all in Canada, Canadian fund. So about a $55,000 drop from last month. You could actually see that here, 1.22 million down to 1.166 now. The stock market is still open. Let's refresh it. Let's see, went up a little higher. Anyway, who cares? This is just the account value. I'm just showing it to you to prove it, but I'm an income investor. All I care about is that consistent passive income that comes in. So make sure if you're not using passive, guys, make sure to download. You could download the free version and use the free version. There's also an elite version, which is $99 a year, but it's 100% free if you use Questrade like me. If you're interested in trying the elite version, use my coupon code, and you'll find that in the video description to actually get 50% off. And I confirmed with Passive that the coupon code is indefinite. So worst comes to worst, it's $50. You don't like it, you can always downgrade to the free one, but this is a great organizational tool to manage multiple accounts. I absolutely love the reporting feature, which you could see all your dividends come in and everything. So really cool tool to organize yourself. So now that you've seen the value, let's check out the what the heck happened in September. And we'll break it down in the Excel files again. You can download them on my website in the free tools section. Let's get to it. All right, everyone, let's start in the RRSP accounts. This is really where the income boost has come from. And this is, of course, going to be of the most interest to my American friends watching because the main portfolio mostly in Canadian holdings. So let's start with these. This is where all the action happened, I would say, in September. So if we look at the RRSP tracker tab here, which you'll have access to if you download the Excel sheets, there was a lot of action in September. But let me break it down. Let's start with the simple stuff. Let's start with the wife's RSP account. So it's very simple, guys. I transferred, or I sold half of my HYLD.U position, which was significant, approximately $50,000, and put it in JEPY, the Defiance S&P 500 Enhanced Option Income ETF, which I'm very, very bullish and excited about. So JEPY and QQQY, I'll get to it. I added that one in my RSP. Get to that in a second. So JEPY and HYLD.U, by the way, cover the same thing. It's really the S&P 500. They're both trying to track, JEPY really is the S&P 500 with daily in the money put option. So very, very unique strategy. I absolutely love it. It's the same guys who manage the Yield Max ETFs. The easiest way to think about JEPY and QQQY, it's pretty much the same thing that the Yield Max ETFs do, except it's on the S&P 500 for JEPY and on the NASDAQ 100 for QQQY, except instead of weekly options, it's daily options. Very, very interesting. In case you missed that video with the Defiance CEO and CIO, Sylvia Jablonski was very kind enough to stay with me for 20 or 30 minutes talking about these ETFs. Make sure to check out that video. I'm very excited. So I transferred half of my HYLD.U into JEPY, which translates to an enormous monthly income boost. That's the first half of the story. Of course, the RA distribution was cut. I did update that at $1.42, unfortunately. But my wife's account, in case you didn't know, just dripping away. Everyone just dripping away. So it's going to be very cool to see the JEPY big compounding interest over time. So you see that big jump here. Total monthly income in Canadian dollars is $12,500, a lot higher than last month. My RSP also had a lot of action. So what happened was I kind of did a 180. So what happened is, first of all, I did sell off my CEFD and HYGW positions to swap all into a bunch of Yield Max ETFs. Before we get into what happened, let's just look at the actual capital gains losses or net losses that I did by selling those two. So CEFD, I did take a $6,600 capital loss. I had it at $24.49, sold it at $19.10. It's actually much lower now. CFD, don't forget, is an ETN that's leveraged at 50% that invests in closed-end funds, which are mostly in fixed income, which has all been getting killed lately at 50% leverage, and you'll just see a big downward spiral. So I just sold it because I'm really trying to streamline my portfolio, and I'm very, very excited about QQQY. So I did sell it off. I did make a big capital loss of $6,600, but I made $5,000 in income from CEFD. So the net loss is $1,650. So I never like having a net loss, but I just decided to go for it because this is my fun account, and QQQY, or at that time, the Yield Max ETF seemed like a much better plan, much funner. So $1,650 loss. HYGW, I also sold it from BlackRock. They do cover calls on corporate bonds. This one I only made a $900 capital loss, but I made $1,600 in income. So that actually translates to a $700 net gain. So combine the two, and it's really only about $900 or $950 loss. So really not the end of the world here. Excuse me. I'm still sick, by the way. I have a cold. I got a cold here because of the air conditioner, but let's move on. So I sold those two, and what did I do with it? Well, at the beginning, what I did is I put them all in a bunch of Yield Max ETFs. So that you could see that here. I picked up the Disney one, the Microsoft one, the 5K, the Coinbase one at 7, more OARC. I got Amazon, Facebook, Google, put more in Clip. I got some Netflix, Apple. So my plan was really at the beginning or initially to go all into the Yield Max ETFs, have a bunch of them, and then just average down every month, whichever one is suffering. So I was just selecting all the Yield Max ETFs, the companies that I liked, that I thought had good potential. That was my plan. But then the Defiance ETFs, QQQY and JEPY came out and basically threw a wrench in there, because I figure, why have Google and Facebook and Amazon and Microsoft, and although they're great companies, when they're really the biggest holdings in the Nasdaq 100, and now I could just get QQQY instead. So that is basically what happened in my thought process. So at the end of September, sorry, I'm in the wrong place. At the end of September, I know I put it in the October section, but I only put it in the October section because I didn't want the September section to be completely huge. I specified the date September 29. What I did is I did a 180. I sold off a bunch of those Yield Max ETFs, the Disney one, the Microsoft one, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Nvidia, Netflix, really the ones that are already big components of the Nasdaq. That's why I kept the Coinbase one, the OARC one. I did keep Tesla as well. And I just swapped it to QQQY. So that's basically all that happened. So much less holdings now, much easier to manage. I'm very happy with this swap here. I think it makes sense. I kept Tesla because although it's a big part of the NASDAQ, it's very, very high volatility. So I've kept it. I'm basically going to keep anything that's not really in QQQY. So OARC, I've decided to keep because it's almost, this is Kathy Wood's ETF. It's almost kind of like the anti-NASDAQ. Right, the innovation, whereas the Nasdaq is the traditional growth, traditional tech, and OARC is the tech that's coming. I also definitely kept the Coinbase one because this one has even more volatility than Tesla. That the first dividend came out. Check out that yield, 72%. I doubt the yield will stay at that level going forward because I think this is really 1.5 months of dividend. But I decided to keep the Coinbase one, the Tesla one, and the OARC one. And then just swap the rest back into QQQY. So doing that move, because of that, QQQY declared their first distribution, absolutely astronomical. So those two major moves really is what increased the passive income, $5,000 from last month. I mean, this is very, very exciting ETFs. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that the monthly distributions could vary greatly, and how I'm going to do it in my tracker is really updated every single month. So the dividend rate is going to be based on the latest distribution. So next month, for example, if both distributions are 10, 20, 30% lower, it's going to be updated and my income is going to be much lower. So I do expect a little bit more, or actually a lot more fluctuation with my passive income, but I will try to be as accurate as I could, and just with all the Yield Max ones and the Defiance ETFs now, update them every month. So you have the latest yield based on the latest distribution. But remember, that could change every single month. So a lot slimmer, a lot leaner, only 8 positions. Wife's account has 5 positions. Stay tuned next month because there's another change. Of course, PII Inner Circle members already know what happened. There's even more streamlining that happened in my wife's account. You'll see that next month. And that's pretty much it for the retirement accounts. I do have some news that I have just updated my Blossom account to include my RSP portfolio. So in case you don't follow my portfolio on Blossom, it's a really cool app that Blossom is starting to market for the US now, for Americans as well. That is their next priority. So for you Americans out there, download Blossom. You should be able to download it. Follow me, where you'll be able to see not only my Canadian portfolio, which is what it had. Now I will also add my RSP portfolio as well. So click on the link in the video description below. Use that link, click on it, and you could download Blossom for free and follow my portfolio. In case you could follow my account values or my portfolio values every single day. So that is the biggest change really in September. It really was in the RSP accounts. I'm very excited about JEPY and QQQY. Expect another video because I'm watching them closely, and I'll try to make a video explaining how I think they behave. But the easiest way to think about them is very, very similar to how the Yield Max ETFs behave. So a video coming up on that. In terms of the main portfolio, everyone, not much action in September, to be honest. The only thing I did was add $10,000 to BKCL, which is Canadian Six Banks with covered calls and leverage, and a little bit more to ENCC, just a tiny bit more. So I'm really trying to capitalize on the bad suffering that the Canadian banks are going through. I think they're really great long-term assets. So I dropped 10K in BKCL in September. That is the big story for the main portfolio of September. So let's go through it really quickly here. let me just drop this back down. Sorry about that. There we go. That should be a little bit better. I don't want to block anything. So let's go through them. So again, as you already know, my core positions are in the gold font. So you have HYLD, HDIF, HUCL, HDIV, which are my core, broad-based covered call ETF solutions. All four of them are leveraged 25%. And really no changes, to be honest, with those. I love absolutely all of them. I still have EIT, 50K worth. There's some changes on that I did in October. So stay tuned. Next portfolio unveil covering October's changes is also going to be big. Again, if you're just too excited and you really want to follow me live, you got to be a PII Inner Circle member. GDV at 50K. DGS still not paying, unfortunately. Gonna miss another dividend most probably. It's in the unit NAV just came out today. I think it's 474, 475, something like that. So it's getting there. I expect it really to cross that $15 unit NAV once the banks start recovering, which could be in 3 months or in 18 months. We really don't know. It depends on the interest rates and things like that. RS, my main sector-specific fund, which I do consider a core position for me because I don't own real estate. I really like 100,000 in there. Great time to pick up RS, by the way. Really, really good. Did a recent video with Dino Rico, who's the CEO of Middlefield, who manages RS. And even recently did a video with the CIO of Middlefield, who manages ENS, who's really in the know-how when it comes to Enbridge. I think they could be good opportunities, especially if you like real estate and especially if you like Enbridge and you don't mind that split share structure, which gives you 50, 60, 70% leverage on these. FTN, this is the one I'm thinking about buying in October. It's just took a beating because financials have taken a beating, both Canadian and US. I think that it is a possibility. Get ready for the possibility, if they keep going down, that FTN will stop paying as well, just like DGS. It's something that you have to remember when you're investing in split share funds. It's always a possibility. So I'll see. It's October the 13th. All my October dividends have not come in yet. We'll see the next round of NAV updates from Quadravest, and then I'll make a decision. But hey, it's like between 20 and 25% yield FTN right now. That's, of course, if it pays. It could be very, very interesting. Or you could just go with the leverage covered call options or non-leverage ones. You have great options. You have HMAX, you have BKCL, you have bank, and you have call. Canadian and call is your American options. All four of these ETFs are suffering because financials are suffering. So I think financials is still one of the sectors that's really the best pickup this month, even real estate. So it's really Canada, that's the Canadian economy, which is a very cyclical economy, that's suffering, except for energy, which is doing really well. ENCC is doing really well because oil and gas stocks are doing well. The pipeline's not so much, but 60% of ENCC is the oil and gas producers. And ENCL just came out from Horizons. A very interesting option. I will probably, well, I'm not going to say, but I will be swapping out my ENCC for ENCL for sure. Because if there's two options, it's the same thing, and you have a leverage version, I will always go with the leverage version. I just don't know when I will do it, probably sometime in the next week or two. ENS took a beating because Enbridge is taking a beating. Great opportunity. Again, make sure to check out that video, the Q&A I do with Rob Lozon. YTSL still rocking 29.8% yield. I just got lucky, I guess. I bought it in December when the stock was really, really down and Tesla shot up. They've also increased their dividend. So 30% yield, by far the highest yield I'm making in this portfolio. Pretty crazy. Crypto is suffering. There's a lot of speculation and rumors going around crypto now. The spot ETF, the Ethereum futures ETF, and this and that. I'm pretty much agnostic. I just invest in crypto as another asset class to get covered calls on. I would never invest in it without the covered calls. Just my opinion, but I did recently bump them up to 40K each, added 5K each in them. So my yields are, these are my lowest yields, and by far these two ETFs are my biggest losers. Maybe not anymore. FTN is really there as well now because it got killed. But I'm okay with 8 and 7%. That's fine. I know that if these for some reason explode next year or whatever, maybe the distributions are gonna re-increase, and then my yield will go higher. So all in all, you see that I updated my number here. My capital is down on paper, of course, on paper, down 16%, which is really not so bad. I think everyone's down, even growth investors are down right now. But my income is relatively stable. The only dividend that's not coming in right now is DGS. So I have to do a disclaimer and say that this is really zero. So my real yield right now, because DGS is not paying, is 10.9, and my total monthly income is 75.68 a month, and that's Canadian dollars. So that is it for the main portfolio, everyone. Pretty boring stuff in the main portfolio, not much added, but I promise you that next month there will be quite some action on the main portfolio and even more action on the RSP. Of course, again, I got to remind you again, if you want to know what's going on right away, you got to be an Inner Circle member. So we're going to do this again next time. Next month, we're going to do this all over again. I'm all about open transparency and really showing you how my portfolio is doing, how much income is coming in. So now my total income for the year, by the way, I updated it, is just under $60,000. So this is why I say, I don't really care about on paper what my capital is doing, because I'm not really going to touch it or use the capital. I am just using the monthly income. As long as this monthly income is chugging along, I'm always going to be a winner in the end. So we'll do this again next time. Take care, everyone. Hey, don't go yet. A few reminders before you leave. Did you know that I launched a YouTube loyalty membership program where for only $3 a month, you could become a PII Inner Circle member, where you will gain access to exclusive content, exclusive videos and live streams, as well as other perks and benefits, including a really cool weekly opportunity report. That's right. If you're interested, just click on the little join button next to the subscribe button to see what it's all about. Also, make sure to follow me on Blossom and download Blossom. It's a social investing app, which is really cool. You could share your portfolio, follow other people's portfolios, including my own. My username is Adrian_PII. So download it with the referral link below. Not only is it free, but you could actually earn cash by taking these really small, quick 1-minute courses. Really awesome. It's a no-brainer. Also, make sure to visit our website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. That's where you could book a one-on-one private coaching session with yours truly, with myself, where you could ask me all the questions you want. All the information and booking information is on the website. Make sure to check out that video on the homepage there to see how to book a one-on-one properly. Also on my website, you could purchase my digital product, which I'm very proud of, the Ultimate DIY Investing Package. This is a reference tool or a companion tool that will help you build your own portfolio. So it has lists of funds, it has sample portfolios, and it covers both the Canadian and US stock markets. And the good news is you'll only ever have to buy it once, because it comes with free lifetime updates. And my plan is really to update the version every single year. So make sure to pick it up. Also, I have Questrade and Passive referral links below. So Questrade is the broker that I personally use, and Passive is the broker companion tool or assistant that I use. Really cool program, really cool software. So I have referral links for both of those. Questrade, $50 of free trades. And Passive, I have half off for the Elite membership. If you're interested in the Elite membership, and even if you want to start out with the free membership and upgrade to the Elite afterwards, use my referral code so you could still get that 50% off. And don't forget that the Elite membership of Passive is 100% free if you use Questrade. For social media, we have a very successful and big Facebook group, private Facebook group with over 14,000 members, where we all try to help each other out. So make sure to join that group. Information is below. We also have Instagram, where you could follow us, or more personal stuff when it comes to our life here in Panama. And there's LinkedIn as well. So as usual, everyone, how do I leave you? Continue to stay safe, stay healthy, and of course, stay passive. See you next time.